In this video, I'll be talking about conversational transcripts in Microsoft Copilot Studio, how you can view the conversational transcripts in multiple areas, and what are the different settings which you can set for configuring the conversation. Now, let me navigate to copilotstudio.microsoft.com. Now, over here, I have uh, created a set of agents within an environment. So if I navigate to different environment, I should be able to see different agents which has been created. Now I have interacted with some of the few agents which I have created. And if I just want to know what was the conversation, uh, when I interacted with different agent and what was the response. So if you want to get those information, you will be able to get through the conversational transcript. Now, first we need to do some settings. So let's go into one of the agent. So I'll go into the research agent. Now here I have an option to set the conversational transcript. So if I go into settings over here, I can offload all the conversation into a different service. So Microsoft Azure. So if I go into advanced, I can I will go into application insight. So what it does is like it will automatically send telemetry for your agent into a application insight resource. You can also log custom telemetry events from within a topic. So you can offload all your uh, telemetry to Microsoft Azure. So you need to have a application insights resource in Azure, and there is an option to log the activity, log sensitive activity properties, and log node tools. Okay, so this is one option. Second option is you need to configure the transcript. So enhanced transcript. So details about nodes such as name, type, and start and end time can be saved to the transcript stored in Dataverse. So here you have an option to include node level details in the transcript. So what happens? The transcript gets stored in the backend Dataverse table. Now I'll show you which table does it reflect on. So if I go into make.powerapps.com and if I go into tables and select all, let me search for conversational transcript with no space in between. So let me type in conversation. So I've typed in conversation, and if you just scroll to the bottom, you'll see conversation transcript. Now, conversation transcript is a standard table, and if I go inside the conversation transcript, it will tell you that, oh, this contains the transcript of conversation between participants such as customers, virtual agents, or human. Now, these are the details. So this is a GUID. This is when it was created. These are the content schema version, and this is an owner. So let me hide the owner. The schema type is Power Virtual Agent. So let me hide that. And it will give me the content schema version. But there are other parameters which you can check. So if you want to see the bot conversation transcript ID, conversation transcript, content schema version, metadata, and the schema type, and maybe the version number. So I'll click on save, and here you will be able to see all this different content from the conversation transcript. Now if you see under metadata, if I just hover my mouse, it will give me the bot ID, the Azure AD tenant ID, and the bot name, and also the basically the schema name of the bot, as you see over here. Also, if I just scroll to my left, here I'll be actually seeing the conversation. So as you see over here, there's activities of an array type, and here you will see various conversation info. So I'll just hover my mouse over here, and you will be able to see all the conversation against that specific conversation ID. Now this is very hard to read, right? Now we would like to have something whereby I can actually see how the conversation has taken place. So if I go into my agent over here, let me show you another setting. So if I just close the settings pane. Now, if you go into the overview, you will be able to see all the stock standard information for an agent, like the details, description, orchestration, agents model, knowledge, tools, etc. But if I go into the settings and go into, say, generative AI, here if I just scroll down, here also I'll be able to see some information around search, file processing capability, user feedback, moderation, response, connected agents, etc. If I go into agent details, I'll be able to see all the agent related details, but the main settings lies around in the advanced over here. So you have an option to view the metadata, the enhanced transcripts. Just by looking into the metadata here, you will be able to relate from which agent that agent conversation is happening. So as we saw the schema name, remember in the table over here we saw the schema name. So here this is like the conversation, and if I just scroll over here, here you'll be able to see the schema name under bot name. Now, if I go to my agent over here, now in the agent, if I navigate to activity, so I did converse with this agent previously. So if I go into activity, I'll be able to see the list of activity that has happened. So let me close this. Yeah. And depending on the conversation ID, I can easily search, find, run by ID, and then I need to type in the conversation ID, and I'll be presented with that particular conversation ID details. Or I can go ahead and click on one of the conversations. So let me click on the recent conversation. So if I click on this conversation, which has 8 items, or maybe I can sort this, and maybe I'll go into, say, this one, say this conversation. I click over here, and here I should be able to see the activity map. But if I want to see what conversation has actually taken place, I'll click on the arrow over here and click on transcript, and then I should be able to see all the conversation which has happened over here, so in a nice list over here, right? So if you see, these are the conversation that has happened with the agent, and it will give me in that uh, what agent said and what did I respond to the agent. So this is some of the conversation which I did with the agent. Like that, you can navigate to different conversation. And again, going back here, click on transcript, and you should be able to see all the interaction which I did with the agent. Now, this is one way. Another way is, now why this has happened is because my environment is created in either in a sandbox or a production environment, and that's why I was able to see the conversation transcript. Now, earlier, I mentioned to you that you can offload all your uh, telemetry from your agent to App Insight. So I've already created an application insights resource. So App Insights Girish Uppal over here. Now, if I want to check, I can actually see the conversation in application insight. So I can go into sessions or maybe an event, and I can actually track. So if I want to see what happened in the last 48 hours, who used it, I can see the page view, request, custom events, or page view, and then I can actually find out the conversation. So I'll go here into view more insights, and here I'll be presented with some more information on the conversation. Now, this application insight I'm using for multiple activity, but if I go into the view session timeline, I should be able to see all the conversation. Now, this is coming from Power Platform Admin Center, and that's why you will see Web API request. But you have an option to further filter down. So if I click on events, you can actually say from where it is coming, last 24 hours, last 48 hours, any custom events or page view events coming from custom events. So if you only want specific thing related to bot message received, bot message sent, topic action, topic end, and topic start, you can just filter out those requests, and it will refresh the graph, and you can go ahead and click on view more insights, and then from here you will be able to actually see the details. So topic action, bot message sent, topic end, bot message received. So if I click on, say, overall, then I should be able to see, if you see over here, I have, that's event name is bot message received, custom dimension is type, event from ID, recipient ID, and you will get all bunch of details over here. So click on show all, and you will see user ID, resource ID, recipient name, and all those things. Okay, so this is like from a text perspective. So if you want to evaluate the conversation, now there is another way through which you can extract the conversation is I have installed an application, a model driven app named as Copilot Studio Kit, and I have configured the Copilot Studio Kit agents within here. So I've configured agents, I've configured. So how to configure an agent is like you navigate to the agent, you click on new, and then you specify which agent you have. And in the configuration type, here you can configure something called as a conversation KPI. Okay, and you can create multiple test set, test runs, and all those things, and you get a nice dashboard. So if I click on conversation KPI, I should be able to see the KPIs which has been created based on the conversation which I had with my selected set of agents. So if I just increase the filter over here, I'll be able to see different topics which are interacted, what was the resolution rate, what was the escalation rate, and what was the customer satisfaction. Again, from a conversation perspective, I can see how it was, whether it was engaged, unengaged, what is the global outcome, whether it was escalated or whether it was abandoned. And in the topics over here, conversation start, conversation, so I can see all the inbuilt report over here, and then I can actually navigate to that specific record item as well. So let it open in a different tab. We will just go back to the conversation KPI. Now here, if you want to see the conversation happening within the agent, then you will need to navigate to something called as a conversation analyzer. Now in the conversation analyzer, you need to configure the agent. Now I've already configured the agent and ran the conversation analyzer. Let me go into, say, maybe say therapy agent and see if I have any results. Now I've got so many results over here. Now I'll pick one of the conversations over here. So I'll click on this conversation, click on view result, and here I'll be able to see all the conversation that has happened within the agent over here. So this is how I can basically view all the conversations. So there are multiple ways. One is you can offload the information to application insight. Second, you can actually view within the transcript area under activity for a specific agent, or you can go into the backend database table and extract the information from the table right from the source, or you can make use of a different model driven application named as Copilot Studio Kit and navigate to conversation analyzer to view all the conversation that has happened. So you can go into the transcript and you can actually see the transcript over here. Right, if I see the transcript over here, you can see different sort of transcript. So again, going back to conversation analyzer, let me pick up another agent. So let me go into travel agent over here, and I can see a whole bunch of discussions happening. So let me pick up this, which has a duration of 610. Click on view results, and then here, these are the details. And I can turn on and turn off this conversation replay. So that's it, folks. This is all about viewing conversation transcripts for Copilot Studio agents. Thanks for watching.